Guess Just Pearlie got to talk about black men and passports for black men to go out here and finally cancel her. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. One of my viewers wanted me to talk about the danger of YouTuber Just Pearlie and other alt-right leaning YouTubers and people on social media. Now, it was recently revealed that the Allen, Texas mass shooter Mauricio Garcia allegedly was watching Just Pearlie and was allegedly inspired by an interview that she did with white supremacist Nick Fuentes to participate in the Allen, Texas mass shooting that led to the deaths of 8 people. Now, as a YouTuber myself, I understand the influence that many YouTubers can have on people, positive or negative. And when I look at Just Pearlie, I can see the clear and present danger that my viewer sees as related to Just Pearlie's rhetoric that she has been participating in as of late, because these statements can go out here and influence a beta male like a Mauricio Garcia to go out here and take violent action as related to the threats that they believe are presented on social media by these individuals. Now, when it comes to many beta males, they are easily influenced by rhetoric, and guys like Mauricio Garcia, they oftentimes do not think critically, and because they don't think critically, they take everything that they see on social media and hear on social media as some sort of gospel truth. And that's what makes someone like Just Pearlie extremely dangerous, because as she's out here, she's not really willing to go out here and have any, as I believe, sort of ethics, because this woman will basically say anything to incite people in order to get her views and subs up. And that was basically shown when she turned her back on her core black audience. Now, Just Pearlie, before she decided to become a alt-right content creator, went out here and courted a large black audience and even asked to collaborate with people like Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, O'Shea Duke Jackson, and Obsidian. And as she went out here, going out here making collaborations with these black content creators, she went to build up her viewer and subscriber base. And once she had peaked as related to being on that black social media platform, she began to turn and decided to build further, expand her base with the alt-right. And that's where Just Pearlie just showed most of the black content creators she was courting that she was a racist. And what's really troubling here is that many of those black content creators did not go out here and disengage from Just Pearlie. No, many of those black content creators, what they did was look to make excuses and try to justify still maintaining a relationship with Just Pearlie. And I found that quite troubling because as after I had made a video trying to talk about black men and passports, trying to refute what I thought was a dangerous narrative as related to black men getting involved with foreign women, many of those black men refused to continue to support my platform with donations to the Patreon, where I lost almost 75% of my patrons. I went from $235 or $200 a month down to barely $53 a month because people just were so in their feelings. And many of these individuals went out here stalking me on social media, but Just Pearlie goes out here and sits down with a white supremacist, Nick Fuentes, and these individuals continue to support Just Pearlie. That's what I found to be quite troubling. A black man trying to help black men improve the quality of their lives. These black YouTubers and black people on social media try to cancel me, But with Just Pearlie, who openly comes out as a racist and white supremacist and says that she supports white supremacy, these black content creators give her a pass. And again, that just shows the danger of her influence, because these spellbound black content creators and viewers would rather support a person who is supporting anti-black racism and white supremacy. They would rather support that individual, and that is one testament to the danger of a Just Pearlie and those on the alt-right. Now, what also makes these alt-right influencers, as I see it, dangerous to black YouTube is that many of these alt-right individuals, they also have an influence on many black content creators. And this is something Mad Black 80 talked about as related to many of these individuals. What they will do is go out here and send these individuals clips of guys like Thomas Sowell, a black economist who is right-wing, and they will ask them to make commentary on those videos. And this is a classic tactic that I learned that Manginas participate in. And a Mangina is a beta male, and what he does is he uses this bait to get a reaction, and they want to get that reaction because they want to see if they can get control over that individual. And many of these beta males don't see how these individuals are just trying to bait them to see if they can get control over that individual and use them to weaponize them as part of their narrative. Because if they can get this individual to make reaction videos to things like minstrel videos or racist content, they can go out here and say, hey, here we have a black person who will go out here and say what we want to say and justify our racist and anti-black narratives. Because if there's a black person to go out here and say that everything we're saying is good, then we have a way to defend their anti-black racism. That's what many of the bootlick content creators and so-called black conservatives don't understand about the alt-right. They don't understand that the alt-right is anti-black. They are not conservative at all, and they are not about anything conservative about black empowerment. No, they are about trying to find pawns to promote their anti-black agenda, and that is the most dangerous thing about a Just Pearlie. A Just Pearlie is just someone who can influence black people, because many black folks, they become spellbound whenever they see a white person, and they want to fit into the black box that is acceptable to white people. And what's really dangerous about these individuals is that they can go out here and influence black people on social media to promote and support narratives that are detrimental to them. That is the danger of a Just Pearlie. And what's even more dangerous is that many of these bootlicking black content creators can't see how Just Pearlie is just going out here looking to try to take control over black social media, the same way white YouTube wanted to use Kevin Samuels to try to control the narrative on social media. Now, back in the days when Kevin Samuels was alive, that YouTube allowed his channel to rise, even though other content creators had their channels flagged and terminated for producing the same content. But YouTube allowed Kevin Samuels to continue on because they wanted to get control over black YouTube, and they wanted to have a black person control the narrative of black YouTube so that black people would not be talking about things like black empowerment. No, they didn't want people to talk about black empowerment and talk about things like getting tangibles for your vote, or going out here and looking to participate in things like group economics, like supporting black-owned businesses like my SJS Direct imprint on Amazon. They didn't want anybody talking about black empowerment, and they wanted to go out here and use the useful idiot Kevin Samuels to promote the gender war, which gets lots of views, generates lots of controversy, but divides the black community and has black people fighting a back and forth and not participating in a constructive discourse that allows the black community to grow or the black community to change. So this is the danger of a just Pearlie. And again, that danger is shown all around as I see it, as related to Nick, the whole situation with Nick Fuentes. That whole situation with Nick Fuentes shows how dangerous just Pearlie's anti-black rhetoric is, and her support of a known white supremacist. This allegedly led to this individual basically feeling the motivation to go out here and allegedly, and I say allegedly because nothing has been proven here, and this basically was one of the things that motivated this individual, Mauricio Garcia, to allegedly participate in this mass shooting. And again, it's very dangerous because many of these people on social media, they have an influence on people, and they don't really take responsibility for their influence. This is something I try to be careful with as related to when I put content on here. As somebody who understands the influence I have had on social media, what I try to do is try to put positive content on to motivate people to go out here and participate in constructive behavior. I understand as a YouTuber, when I create content, I know people want to take action, and I want them to take action to improve the quality of their lives. This is why when I go out here and I produce content, I try to motivate people to go out here and take positive action to improve the quality of their lives, not go out here and look to do harm. But when I look at just Pearlie, she is just becoming, again, a problem as related to social media, because she has been, as an influencer, influencing people to go out here and participate in behavior that, as I see it, is out of control. I mean, she has been out here saying that she is open to being a Karen, and as a so-called Karen, she's been out here looking to go out here and go after black YouTubers' channels, and this again is a violation of YouTube's community guidelines. I mean, recently she announced that she was going after threatening YouTuber Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, who, after a disagreement with her, said that he didn't want to collaborate with Just Pearlie anymore, and Just Pearlie was caught on video allegedly threatening him, saying that she was going to take his channel down. Now, this is a clear violation of YouTube's community guidelines as related to bullying, and is a clear statement, again, that violates YouTube's terms of service. However, Just Pearlie has remained on the platform, and that really shows that there's a real serious problem at YouTube as related to Just Pearlie. Again, her influence is something that is a real problem, because she's gone out here and false flagged, I believe his name is Sarah Sunsetti, a UK YouTuber who had a disagreement with her as related to a copyright strike, and she's threatened to copyright strike Mediocre Tutorial and Reviews. And again, this woman violates the community guidelines, but because she has what I believe to be white privilege, they continue to give her a pass. But giving her a pass when she's already done streams that support individuals like white supremacist Nick Fuentes, this is dangerous, because again, you're giving a platform that has lots of influence on a lot of these beta males who are a part of these alt-right organizations. And when you have somebody who is an influence on these alt-right individuals, and they are clearly stating that they get inspiration and influence from them, this woman, again, is a danger, and she's a danger to everyone as related to her influence, because the whole thing is, when you go around here getting involved with the alt-right, again, the alt-right is a hate side of the far right, and again, this hate group basically is allowed to stay on social media, and again, that's a very dangerous influence, because these individuals are very it can be easily influenced to go out here and do harm, the same way that Mauricio Garcia did when he allegedly participated in that mass shooting in Allen, Texas, that took the lives of an entire family well, except for one. Remember, I mean, there was this one Asian child who survived. He's a 6-year-old out of an entire family. And again, all because this individual was influenced by things that he saw and heard on social media. Now, again, as a content creator on social media, I understand my influence, and I also understand the influence of content on people. And again, as I see it, you have to take a lot of what you read and hear with a grain of salt. And again, especially when it comes to these far left and far right rhetoric, because many of the people who promote and push this far right rhetoric, again, a lot of these people, they will say a lot of things to get people in their emotions, and they will go out here and say these things, but the whole thing is they don't really follow what they say. Again, they will lead, but they won't follow. I mean, they will make this rhetoric, but they won't go out here and stand by it. And again, this is why you have to be careful, because a lot of what you read and what you see and you hear on social media isn't what you think it actually is. And that's why you got to be careful, because a lot of these people, they create these online personas to build their audience. And what Just Pearlie and these wants to do is build her base on the alt-right, because she's got the 1 million subscribers from the black YouTube sector, and she wants to go and parlay this into a larger base. And she believes that by turning on the black sector of YouTube, she can go out here and build a 2 to 3 million base on the alt-right platforms. She's basically trying to play a game, and it's a dangerous one on social media as related to going out here and courting the alt-right. And again, this is a dangerous game that if people get into the middle of it, they can wind up getting in a situation where they buy into this rhetoric and act in a dangerous way. Now, I find it interesting that YouTube will go out here and shadow ban black channels. They will go out here and monitor black channels. But the Mauricio Garcia, he was on YouTube for years, going out here violating their terms of service as related to the hate speech he participated in, making videos about being an incel, making videos about conspiracy theories. I find it interesting that you have people like Just Pearlie and Mauricio Garcia who openly violate YouTube's terms of service and are allowed to stay on the platform for years, even as they're shown to have again violated the terms of service multiple times. But a black YouTube channel that stays within the guidelines, those channels wind up having to deal with age restrictions. Those channels have to wind up dealing with being flagged and having their content taken down, and have to go through an ordeal to get content reinstated or their accounts reinstated, clearly showing a double standard as related to what's going on here. And again, the influence of Just Pearlie on people, again, this is a danger to everyone, because the whole thing is when you polarize these racist and white supremacists and you go out here and polarize them, you can go out here and inspire them to go out here and do harm in society, and that's not something that we can take lightly. Again, the whole thing is that you have Pearlie out here saying that she's a Karen, courting white supremacists. Again, these are things that basically would be considered violations of YouTube's guidelines, and it shows how dangerous this influencer is. And I just look at it and go, people are not taking her as seriously as they need to be. But this is what happens with a lot of white women. A lot of people don't want to take them seriously, but I see the clear and present danger of Just Pearlie on social media. And again, the rhetoric she makes as related to the alt-right and supporting the alt-right, if this is allowed to go mainstream online, this can lead to a lot of more beta males like Mauricio Garcia to be motivated to participate in violence, because with a lot of these beta males, they create covert contracts with people that they see online, and these covert contracts, they believe if they participate in this kind of violence, they will get their attention and approval, because in the beta male's mind, he thinks that, oh, if he commits this type of violence, he will gain attention, favor, and approval with this white woman and those on the alt-right. And that's the type of behavior that is extremely dangerous to black and black people, because these individuals oftentimes like to use black people as a scapegoat, and they like to use black people as a scapegoat for the problems that they're having in their lives, and they like to go out here and believe that they have a reason to gain some favor with many in these alt-right groups. That's what they think they will get if they as they're listening to people like a Just Pearlie or many of these other alt-right individuals. They believe that they can get brownie points and some favor in those circles. And again, that is the danger of their rhetoric. It's very dangerous because as these individuals sit there looking for somebody to blame, they want to get that favor and approval from those individuals, and they want to get that favor and approval by hurting those who they believe are the enemy of the country. And that's what they want. That's why they want to go out here and do harm, because they feel, oh, they'll mention me or they'll talk about what I've done. And again, I'm just wondering, why is this woman still on YouTube? Because if anybody else was on YouTube participating in this type of behavior, being shown in a video with white supremacists and threatening black content creators, that person would have been removed from the channel. Not only the channel, but their account would have been terminated for violating the terms of service. I'm just wondering, why is Just Pearlie allowed to remain on the platform when it's shown that she's participated in cyberbullying? She's been shown to have participated in a stream that was filled with hate, supporting a individual who participates in hate speech. I mean, why is this woman allowed to remain on the platform? Because she's, as an influencer, she is influencing things that violate YouTube's terms of service. And again, just wondering what's wrong with YouTube. You have somebody who is violating your terms of service, but believe that because they're a white person, you don't really want to do anything about them. And again, people lost their lives because they watched that interview with Pearlie and Nick Fuentes. And again, this is time for YouTube to take action, but they'd rather go after black content creators for having a difference of opinion in a gender war video, or having opinions that are different than the mainstream. And they monitor black channels harder than they do many of these racists. And again, this is like the 4th or 5th mass shooter to have had a YouTube channel, and it's shown that they never really monitored that channel to see how dangerous the influence are on these individuals. Now, this was a video requested by one of my viewers, and if you want to request a video, you can send a donation to the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find those books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Ascension, The Devil's Evil reaches a turning point in her life. Powerful E-Steam series story. Get E-Steam Ascension at online booksellers today.